Facebook has a new advisory board.
It's on here, I think. Oh, no, it moved.
It moved. So Facebook, this is a really interesting story. So they talked about this a few months ago and whatever, and they said that they were basically putting together an advisory board that will basically be kind of like the Supreme Court of Facebook cases. Like,
What the fuck does that even mean?
So basically,
Is Facebook a government now?
So
Is
no,
Facebook,
but so this is
what
what's
the fuck?
interesting.
Yeah.
So this is what's interesting. So this advisory board, the goal is for them to become independent of Facebook. So basically, Facebook, it's kind of like WADA with the UFC. So WADA is the World Anti-Doping Agency. And the UFC contracts WADA to do all of their anti-doping
Compliance, yeah.
So Facebook is funding the advisory board or whatever, but just because they fronted all the money doesn't necessarily mean that they own it. But they're saying that, like, they're writing in their constitution or whatever.
That's suspect. I don't believe that.
But what's cool is eventually all these other social medias are either going to have to follow suit or completely not have any control over what's allowed on the platform at all.
That's what Jack Dorsey does with Twitter. Twitter's a free-for-all. You could put porn on Twitter.
You can put porn on Twitter.
You can put whatever you want
But that's
Twitter.
where you walk the fine line, because you can get banned on Twitter.
Yes, you can.
He doesn't allow anything.
Twitter,
you can't have
Twitter
hate speech.
does have some rules, and Jack is known for being political, and a lot of people...
But like, if you're a porn star, it's not going to be...
You can
the end
show
of the
your
world.
fucking genitals, but you can't, call someone a dead name. Like, that's the funny, weird line. It's like, you can literally show the most vulgar shit. Like, you can't show, dead bodies, but you can show your fucking...
That's
you
what
can
I,
show
that's what
straight
I
up
mean
porn.
by, a porn star.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a porn star, that's what you do. That's...
You can literally promote your OnlyFans and, literally show your titties and
Right.
vag. Like, you can do whatever you want.
Titties.
If there's good intention behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But you
Facebook is
can't.
all- but
you
Facebook-
can't dead name someone. You also can't call someone a.
What's dead name?
A dead naming someone is when someone, let's say, I am a trans person and I'm transitioning.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain it for the audience. I'm transitioning to a girl, and now I'm saying my name is Andrea instead of Andrew. Andrew is now my dead name because I'm telling you that now I will be referred to as Andrea and I'm a woman. If you on Twitter refer to me as Andrew, you can get completely banned from Twitter.
For hate speech
Which
purposes.
is fucked up, because it's like, hey, that's not a slur. Obviously, if it's being used in a derogatory manner, which a lot of times it is, I understand how it's disrespectful, but that guy's showing his penis and he's allowed to be on the platform, and you called me my dead name and now I'm banned. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
such a weird
Yeah.
double standard of what's allowed and what's not. So anyways, the advisory board, ideally, eventually other companies will be able to use the advisory board to settle their cases. And so, for example, if there's what was the dude that taught his dog to do the Nazi salute or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Context Matters guy in the UK.
What's his name again? Count something?
Count Dankula.
Count Dankula. Yeah, exactly. Funniest name ever.
And it's
to
so
have,
funny
a
because
precedent set.
his whole entire thing was about context matters, and everyone was on the opposite, saying context doesn't matter. Hate speech is hate
It's
speech.
never okay.
And he was leaving court, and some reporter was said something about do you think it's okay that you made your dog do the Nazi salute? And he's like, you just said the word Nazi salute. You are saying what I'm being punished for right now.
Context matters.
Context
you're not,
matters.
If I'm not allowed to do what I'm doing, you're not allowed to say the word Nazi
You're not
salute.
allowed to say it. If I can't do it, then you can't do it.
Exactly.
It was this whole huge legal precedent thing, and it's interesting because Facebook already has a lot of people feel like Facebook censors and Facebook is a dictatorship.
Well, they do censor.
and Facebook has inconsistent rules. So if there is a Facebook Supreme Court that can set legal precedents, or not legal precedents, set social precedents, so that it's if one person does one thing to another person and they're like, oh, that person doxed this person and then exposed their nudes. We had a case that happened 3 years ago, and that person had a lifetime ban and fines. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to this person as that person happened. Basically, real Supreme Court with real legal precedent.
Exactly. And basically, the interesting thing about that is they can kind of step back as the bad guy. So now it's not
They just
Zuck.
point it's not the Zuck, it's the Supreme Court or whatever
Exactly. It's basically...
What's it called?
It's called the... It's called the Oversight Board.
Federation of Correlation of Oversight Board.
I'm gonna
of the
pull this
face-
up, actually.
Of the books of the faces.
It's not related to Facebook though. Like they're
But
really
Facebook pays
trying.
for it. But Facebook pays for it though.
They fronted the money to fund it. Yeah.
And then how does it stay profitable? Facebook keeps paying them.
Yeah, because they're contracting them. Do you understand? For example, if
This is so. It's like. It seems
no, it's
seems
exactly
sketch.
like WADA
It
with
se-
the UFC,
I mean,
bro.
but even WADA seems sketch. I mean, same
It's
thing.
not
Same thing with the
sketch.
U.S. doping agency when it comes to the Olympics. Like it's like, hi, we're the Olympic team, and we contract a private drug testing company to wink wink randomly drug test us, and you know that
No,
pee,
because
that
they
pee, that
operate-
pee and blood is guaranteed, and
No, because-
they show up randomly, and it's like okay.
the WADA is going to get paid no matter what. Their job is to catch people. They are external from the UFC. The UFC came to them after they were getting exposed for having problems in that area, and they came in and cracked the fuck down and put in way stricter guidelines. The UFC contracts WADA to say, "Hey, we're not going to regulate this stuff. We're
WADA
bringing in
is.
WADA to do it." And that's exactly what Facebook is doing. Just because they fronted the money to I agree. It is in the beginning. It will be very much like, oh yeah, well, duh. Oversight Board is Facebook because they fronted the money. But who is going to front the money? The government's not going to fucking front the money.
Well, if you think about it, I think corporations are going to start being governments. Like, I think the U.S. government is going to get fucking taken over by Zuckerberg and Facebook. Like, I think everyone's like,
How?
dude, I don't know, dude. I just think it's. Let me put on my tinfoil hat real quick. I don't think U.S. politics are going to get a billionaire CEO to be in the White House. But a billionaire CEO, especially a billionaire CEO who runs, I don't know, Facebook, has more power than the president, I think. Has the potential to
But
have
how's
more
that
power.
overrunning the government?
Meaning, like...
Facebook sets laws that override the government's laws?
No, let's say...
I mean,
let's
because, dude,
say-
we're
hold on,
talking
let me-
about worldwide
hold on,
shit.
let me finish. Trump says something in one of his daily press conferences. Facebook has the power to either relay that message or relay and share a different message. You know, they can change the narrative because people...
Yeah, but how is that overriding the government, overrunning the government? Like the government becomes irrelevant? That's the police and enforcement. It's not like it's not like Zuck is gonna have his own police force.
I think
it's going out and enforcing martial law.
When I said the word government, I guess I spoke too broadly. And I haven't really thought too much about this. So let me take my tinfoil hat back off. But I'm just
And
saying, but I'm just
come
saying,
back down to earth.
I just think corporations currently are too big and have too much power.
In December, Facebook said it set aside $130 million to fund the board's operations. That seems like a lot in the grand scheme of how much Facebook makes. That's
not a
a
lot.
drop in the fucking
It's
bucket,
nothing.
dude.
It's nothing.
But basically,
$100 million is like $1,000 to these people.
So check
Like
this out. So
$130.
the inaugural 4 co-leaders of the oversight board, I'm not going to say their names because you wouldn't know them, but they are respectively a former special rapporteur on freedom of expression at the Organization of the American States, a law professor at Columbia, a law professor at Stanford, and a former prime minister of Denmark.
Okay.
Those are 4 of the 40 people who are going to make
I
up
can
the
fuck
oversight
with
board.
Denmark. They're democratic socialists. I can fuck with
Yeah,
Denmark.
and it's crazy because it's going to have 40 members overseeing a platform of 2.37 billion.
Billion. Ah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, but I think it's a step in the right direction because I don't know if you saw the whole expose that it was a lot of great journalism by Casey Newton from The Verge, but basically he went into these contracted companies that do Facebook moderation and exposed a lot of really bad things. So basically these people that work for, I don't remember the company names, but basically Facebook comes to them and contracts out their moderation to these companies.
Oh, right. Okay.
And what happens is it's almost like a call center, but instead of hitting the phones, you are just constantly being shown things that have been flagged on Facebook. So
like
every single
YouTube,
day,
like reviewers, like YouTube
a manual reviewer,
yeah.
but this is for Facebook, and there's a lot more things being shared on Facebook than like YouTube's algorithm is pretty good
Is that
at figuring
why
out
now
what's going
Facebook
on.
has those like fact check things under everything someone posts. Like someone posts something and then at the bottom will be like, Facebook says this is bullshit, or like Facebook
that's
says
to combat
this is legit.
fake news. That's not reporting like child porn and shit like that. Like, so these people are sitting at a desk every day, and there's different levels of where you're at. So you're in a specific category. So like I could be on the terrorism category, and all day, every day, I'm literally just looking.
Didn't Matthew get a fucking terrorist ad on Facebook? What was that shit he said?
It was
to
like
the group?
Sharia law something.
It was literally like an ad about like how bad the West is. I was tripping.
Yeah, it was some dumb guy that just bought a Facebook ad, but this is way different. So basically, this is like, so if I'm on the anti-terrorism, I'm just being shown videos that have been flagged for terrorism all day, and I either say, yes, this is terrorism, or no, it's not terrorism. And that's basically how they go through and do manual review, because AI is not good enough yet. And then basically you keep coming upon a lot of these same videos. Like there was this one lady who was on the like, you know, and also there's like a certain kind of filtering thing where one person, they kind of categorize everything from the beginning. So they're seeing everything from child porn to cats being just shot in the face to people being murdered. Like it's literally so bad, and people have legitimate PTSD from
I was gonna
this
say
shit.
You got to go to therapy after that.
And not
Shit.
only that, these companies were not offering therapy. They were having really strict rules. Like if you did the wrong categorization like 5 times in a week, you were just like fired, and like there was no counseling. There was limited.
That's fucked.
There was limited bathroom breaks. Like apparently the workstations were really filthy because they worked 24 hours. So like you would go in and sit at a desk that like someone else had just sat in at that desk for like 12 hours, and they had
like
limited bathroom
shit
breaks
everywhere.
Yeah, like apparently there was even reports of like sexual fluids like in places and stuff. Like it was really disgusting. Like it was a really gross place to work, and and these places are not, they weren't making very much money. They were not being treated fairly. And again, like if you want to learn more about this, Casey Newton did he did 2 big pieces on this, but it did a lot to expose that industry. In Facebook, the problem is Facebook didn't know that a lot of stuff was happening because this is all being outsourced, right? So they'd have people come in and do their little sweeps and like see like, oh, looks like everything's going good. They would be announced when the Facebook was going to come. So whenever the bigwigs from Facebook were going to come to these locations, they would stay up all night cleaning the place and making it look
It reminds
nice.
me of like Amazon's fulfillment centers.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of, because they
got to hit numbers.
because they privately contract warehouses already existing
To do fulfillment for them.
fulfillment, and then Amazon comes in with its very strict rules, and then all the people that work in that fulfillment warehouse are like, what the fuck is this? You know, like I'm pissing in jugs, you know, like
Yeah.
it's
because they had limited bathroom breaks and all this stuff, and they were timed on everything. But
It's crazy,
that's
yeah.
literally the same type of stuff that was happening in these Facebook moderation places. Some places were better than others, but a lot of these people were under contract to like say, like they weren't allowed to speak out, but they did anyways. And like, hats off to them.
like
'cause they-
whistleblow basically.
Basically, they were whistleblowers for this type of shit, and Facebook got a lot of blowback from those stories. And I think that this is a good step in the right direction to start implementing something on a bigger scale, because we can't just be. I mean, dude, think about just looking at the worst of the worst human behavior.
It's like scrolling through LiveLink or LiveLeak or like fucking Rotten.com
all day. But
By the way,
even
never go to
Lively-
either of those places.
But even those places, stuff can get taken down. I think, like, you know, it's
I've seen a guy get run over by a train, and like
me too.
like,
but like
LiveLeak is fucked up.
It is. But again, like these people literally, like as soon as you clicked like yes or no, you just got another one. Like there was no break. Like you couldn't just like take a pause and be like, holy fuck. Like literally these people that cared about animals would just be watching like animals getting like shot in the face and strangled all day.
I forget what it's
like it's
called.
so fucked.
I forget what it's called, but therapists actually get this problem too. So I knew my therapist, she was working with a lot of Army veteran rape victims. So women that had been raped while being overseas in service, and basically like if you speak out, you'll be punished. So it's unfortunately like a free for all rape fest. Like it's bad. It's very bad. And she told me that she worked.
That's the title of this episode: Free for All Rape Fest.
Oh, it's messed up.
I'm just kidding. God damn it! Sorry.
And you dumb shit.
You said it, not me.
And so basically she was multiple cases. She was working with multiple women that were dealing with like these problems, and she said that like I forget again. I don't know what
like
it's called.
secondhand PTSD,
She
basically.
started receiving all of the trauma herself, and then she started behaving and acting like she had been raped. Oh, like it was very weird. She told me because I was like seeing regular appointments. She's like, "Hey, I'm taking 2 months off. Like I have to go seek therapy."
It's like secondhand PTSD.
She's like,
basically.
I have to seek therapy. I have to take time for myself. Like I can't even be a therapist right now. Like I'm too fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine those people feeling the same way by just seeing like horrible things happen all the time.
These employees like said, like even after they quit, they would have night terrors and PTSD, like all kinds of fucked up shit. And these people, meanwhile, were making like $12 an hour. Like it wasn't good.
Call center money is trash money.
And not only that, they were having to spend money on their own therapy. Like there wasn't any kind of recourse for therapy or anything. Like it
wasn't built into the ecosystem of the companies.
And it totally should have been. Like, and I mean, are we really gonna? I mean, obviously, the idea would be to get AI good enough to make it so that humans aren't having to regulate this stuff. But I mean, it's just not right now. Like, it's just. Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click right here. If you want to watch more clips, we got 2 more right over here.